Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 8th. You have this card that says the energy is gaining momentum. You have this card that says your dreams need a practical plan. Yes. Every single person has had something about dreams this week. I think it makes a lot of sense. We have one more shot with Neptune in Pisces. Neptune's in Aries right now, but it will be retrograding back into Pisces soon enough. Neptune in Pisces is the big impossible dream. Yes, I have said this many times. I will continue to say it because this is your one chance. You will be dead the next time Neptune comes back to Pisces. And by the way, even if you somehow magically survived until the next time that Neptune came back to Pisces, right? Saturn won't be there with it. So Saturn has, in the last 3 years, entered into Pisces with Neptune there. Then they both go into Aries. Then they both, at the same frickin' time, retrograde back into Pisces. Then at the same frickin' time, basically next year, they're going to move back into Aries. It's like a cosmic setup for everyone to accomplish their impossible dream. You know, whatever your impossible frickin' dream is. I don't care. But, you know, that's why I beg people to kind of like start working on a dream, even if they think they can't, because like, if there was ever a time where you could literally exceed your own expectations, it's right now. And so, you know, again, I don't say this stuff for the fun of it, right? And, yeah, I would get to work. You have the Three of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the Lovers. The Three of Pentacles is a card of putting your work on display. I do believe it is also an amazing time for air signs in particular to show off. You know, I feel air signs should be showing off as much as possible right now, and for the next like 19 years at least with Pluto and Aquarius, just because you have a great opportunity to get a lot of positive attention, and that's what I would be really focusing on. I have a ton of air in my chart. I'm a Gemini moon, right? I have Aquarius rising, Mercury in Aquarius, and you know, everything that I've been focusing, like, I'm not even an air sign, but I do have a good amount of air in my chart. And so, you know, I'm also working towards taking advantage of this energy, getting attention, standing out, you know, all this other stuff, right? Because it's just such an amazing time to do it. Now, of course, we want to make sure that we're doing this positively. We will see both sides of this. We already have. You know, I can think of, you know, there are like 2 influencers that are both in jail in foreign countries right now. One in Korea, one in the Philippines, I believe, for making, you know, an ass out of themselves, basically, right? So we will see a lot of that over the next 20 years. People, you know, acting like jerks and things like that. Of course, we want to make sure that we're going in the positive direction. You have the Hermit here. The Hermit is about shining your inner light. Again, sometimes I feel the Hermit's job is to come down from the mountain. Long story short, I always say that right now we have the South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces. What is this triggering in all of us? This right here. People who are born with like the South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces, like people being born right now, right? Usually in a past life, they were hurt by something and they escaped to the top of the mountain. They became a hermit, right? And they did this to basically punish the world. That's one way that can manifest, you know, South Node Virgo, North Node Pisces. And so people who are born with that, their karma is to come down from the mountain, is to not, you know, not think everything is going to hurt them, right? And so that's something that I believe as a collective whole, we are all working on right now because of that astrology. We are all being asked to come down from the mountain and share those things that maybe we're scared to share, or, you know, to speak up or to be a shining light in the world. And I also think it's no mistake that we have Pluto and Aquarius, because same thing. You know, Aquarius is a star card. We have to do things to stand out with the star card, right? And I feel that's what the Hermit is asking you to do. You have the Lovers. I definitely feel there's love coming in for you. I'm telling you, didn't I say this to you? I think you are taking someone off the market. It's like you're stealing someone. And I don't mean that in a negative way or anything like that, Gemini. I feel that some of you, look at this. We go 6 of Cups to the King of Cups here. I'm telling you right now. I think I've said this to you about 3 times. And I keep getting this message. It's such a weird message, but it's like literally, I feel you could literally, it's like you're stealing a person, but not literally, but, you know, as in, you know, I feel that maybe you're getting together with a person that is desirable or other people desire, but it's like they're doing nothing about it and you are. I don't know. I keep getting this message for you, I'm pretty sure. So, I don't know. There you go. You know, if you're interested in a desirable person, I feel you could easily scoop them up here, Gemini, with very little effort. So I don't know if that helps any of you, but definitely popping to my head. Of course, the Lovers is you. So whenever you show up as yourself, the major arcana version of yourself in a reading, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. So very positive. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, I feel it is a good time to be adventurous. I think it's a good time to make things more fun for you as well. That's also popping into my head. I don't know if this is going to be helpful, Gemini, but what I would say, like if you're doing a business or if you're working on something, I would be thinking, how can I make this more fun? We go down to the Six of Cups here. It's like, how can you turn something into a game, I don't know. That might be helpful for some of you. And, that's what I would pay attention to. I wish I could get more on that message, but I'm not. With the Hermit, here you go. You have the Empress. Definitely, by the way, one thing that really has surprised me about this week in particular is money. You have the Nine of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. But I did not expect this to be a good money week. Actually, I prepared myself when I started doing these readings. I was like, it's not going to be an amazing money week, right? Just because of some things that are going on. But I like it when readings prove me wrong, basically. And so I feel there could be a lot of abundance. Now, I will say Eight of Pentacles, requires work, so it's not going to just magically come to you. And there are some actions you're going to have to take, I believe, like showing off with the Three of Pentacles. We'll talk about the other Pentacle cards here on like what you need to do as well to get this abundance. But I don't know, looks pretty good to me. I definitely feel there could be abundance. I also feel if you're interested in a person, they will definitely find you attractive, Gemini. So there you go. With the Lovers, you have the Two of Pentacles again. The other Two of Pentacles is under the Nine of Pentacles here. Both cards wanted to come out together. But the Two of Pentacles is like juggling, spinning plates, being very busy. I actually feel pretty good about this, Gemini. I do feel that you are about to be very busy, but, I also feel this is a good thing for you. I feel it's going to keep your mind active, and I think it's actually going to help you with your focus, and yeah, I just feel good about it. So there you go, Gemini. I feel pretty good about that Two of Pentacles in your reading. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the strategy card. It says plan, scheme, strategize your future, and take the next right actions for your life. Yes, I feel that's like if you were to ask me what this week would have been, like before I started all these readings, this is it right here. Like I feel this is one of the best things we could all do this week of the 8th in particular is strategize, come up with a plan, and all that other stuff. So I do think it is an amazing week for that. You have this ultimate fulfillment card. It says you're now entering into a time of peace, happiness, and emotional fulfillment. Definitely looks like it. You definitely have one of the better readings this week, I would say, as well. Aquarius had a good reading. Scorpio had a good reading. Everybody else's readings were a little bit more on the challenging side, I would say. And, it's not that there aren't challenges here, but, I feel your reading just is overall a little more on the positive side of things. Next, also in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the Two of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, Six of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. This right here could be about like picking one thing to focus on, like one skill, and making it your focus. The lady on the Nine of Pentacles, she has that falcon on her hand, represents training her focus, and she also has skills. She has those grapes behind her. And so the Nine of Pentacles, the grapes basically say that she has a specific skill that creates her abundance, that makes her abundant, and she needs to like double down on that skill. So the Two of Pentacles can sometimes come up when we are maybe focusing on too many things, and we need to focus in on like one thing instead of 900 things. And I'm sure if you're like me with the Gemini energy, I'm a crazy Gemini moon, right? I do 900 things at once. But sometimes I do feel that focus is better. Focusing in on one thing and making it your focus and all that other stuff would be probably a good idea. You have the Six of Cups. Again, I got this message on this card that something needs to be made more fun. I wish I knew more of what I was talking about. Do I ever know what I'm talking about? No. Like, why do people watch me? I have no freaking clue because I never know what I'm talking about. But what I would say here is that I feel like something needs to be made more fun. I would say especially for those of you that are like working on a project. But I also feel that this is saying this needs to be more fun on both sides. Meaning, like, let's say you're working on a business. I think you need to make it more fun for yourself, but I also think you need to make it more fun for your customers or your clients or the people that buy from you or whatever the case may be. It's like both sides, I think, That's what this is encouraging. So how can you make what you do more fun? Even if there isn't another side. Let's say you're working on your health, right? It's like I watch people run every single day. I'm like, why? Like, why? They all look like they're about to either shit their pants or die. I'm like, why are you running? You clearly don't like it. I can tell by the look on your face. You don't have to do this to be healthy. There are like other things you can do, that also work just as well. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, are you doing things? I do have that question popping into my head, Gemini. Are you doing things that aren't fun? And I don't know. Only you can answer that question. And if you are, is there a better way? Is there a more fun way? But this card is screaming fun. I'm not getting any of the traditional messages on that card. You have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles can represent, feeling left out in the cold, calling attention to your weaknesses. I always say that this card has a very easy solution. All we have to do is focus on our strengths, not our weaknesses. So I would make sure that you're doing that. I also do feel that you could be attracting a person has been through something similar to you every once in a while, not always, but sometimes I feel that the Five of Pentacles can be two people who have had like a very similar experience in love, but it's actually a good thing because you've had similar experiences, it's like you won't do it to each other, if that makes sense. So definitely could be a very solid connection for those of you that want love. I feel like both people need to see each other, though, here. It's like, Six of Cups can be a gift from the universe as well. Six of Cups can be a soulmate. I personally do not read the Six of Cups as someone from the past, but I do feel that you could almost, especially for those of you if you've been through something particularly difficult in love, I feel like you could be attracting someone that is like a gift, right? With the Two of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Wands. We had a lot of aces in the September readings. Probably the eclipses. Eclipses, usually we do start something new during eclipses. Sometimes we have eclipses, we cut one thing out, or we cut something out of our life to have something better. And so, I don't know. Yeah, of course. Sure. Absolutely. You could be, cutting things out so that you can have something better in your life. And I feel that is always a good idea with the Ace of Wands. One thing I will say about the Ace of Wands is that I look at the Ace of Wands as a fire or starting a fire. The Ace of Wands is like a spark, but a spark is nothing. We have to keep putting wood on the fire. That is definitely the time that we're in. You have the Eight of Pentacles here. I think something, and the Eight of Pentacles is coming up in the good stuff, so it's a good card, but, something people don't realize about the Eight of Pentacles is it kind of says we have to, like, pick a thing. Pick a project, pick a habit that we're going to stick to, and then we have to stick to it. We have to see it through to the end, right? And so same thing with the Ace of Wands. We have to understand what gets the fire to grow in love, in business, in health, whatever it is that you're working on, doesn't matter here, Gemini, but it's like, what can you do what activities are you doing that keep the fire growing? And again, that's definitely something I would get to the bottom of. Not even just this week. I would say until like March of next year. I think, and again, this is a personal belief. This is Chris's crappy astrology. This is not necessarily intuitive. But looking at things, I think that the energy really changes significantly in March of next year. That doesn't mean things are going to be bad or anything like that between now and then. I'm just saying that between now and then, I think it would be a great time to understand what causes the fire to grow in any area of your life, right? With the Six of Cups here, you cannot make this up. You have the Star card. I'm pretty sure I said the Star, talking about Aquarius. It is your time to shine. It is your time. Like, all this right here is saying it's your time to step into the light. It's your time to be on top of the world, Gemini. I think it's your time to, scream and get attention and all that other amazing stuff. But also, again, there could be some fears you have to overcome. I'm not saying this is going to be easy. It's going to require work with the Hermit. And especially because we have the South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces. Like, literally, we are in the time of the Hermit, literally. So, all of us are being asked to face these things. But you won't regret it. I'll say that. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Six of Wands. Yes, more attention, right? He is getting attention here. Same thing if you want love. Like, if you have your eye on a person, I don't think you have to, like, necessarily tell a person you're in love with them, but you're definitely going to have to, I do feel you have to, like, kind of get their attention in some way. And that's what I would do with the Six of Wands, is do something to get their attention. I feel that would be very good for you, just in general. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have the shadow work and this transformation card. So a lot of you could be doing a lot of shadow work at this time. We are in a hermit card. Even though the hermit wants you to step into the light with a star, he literally has a star in his lantern. I do feel it is still a good time for healing, especially during eclipses, right? If there's anything you want to get rid of, now is a great time to do that work, like mental blocks, money blocks, love blocks. Great time to work on those things because we can get rid of them faster, right? And so I think it would be a great time to do that. I definitely feel you could be attracting a King of Cups. Again, this is also, this row, it represents messages from your future self. So this could be your person. It doesn't have to be a water sign. I think it could be any sign. I would just say that it's a person who's emotionally stable. Probably like an emotional rock for you, Gemini, which is probably good for Gemini. I don't want to speak for all of you Geminis, but, it's like sometimes I do think Gemini, like, that would be a good archetype for Gemini, right? A person who does not waver in their emotions, someone who you cannot shake. So more of like an unshakable energy, right? Might be good for you. So I do feel this could be like an emotional rock type of person that's coming in for you. And it could be any sign, and any gender, it doesn't really matter. But the King of Cups is sitting in these choppy waters, and he is perfectly fine. He is a emotional rock. You can see it on his face. So there you go. The other thing is adventure, Gemini. I'm going to say this to you for the next, I don't know, until 2033 with Uranus in your sign, basically. Uranus will be retrograding back into Taurus on the 7th, but doesn't matter. Uranus has already moved into Gemini. I would be going on adventures and pushing yourself outside your comfort zone as much as you possibly can. There are benefits to it, but you just aren't going to know those benefits until you do it, right? So I would be going on adventures, like literal and figurative. Like you could literally go on an adventure, traveling somewhere. Doesn't even have to be that far. Like maybe you've gotten into a comfort zone, and maybe like me, you go to the same store every single day, right? Every single person, you cannot make this stuff. And every single person that has recognized me in public is Whole Foods. I don't know if I've met any Geminis in public, maybe. But if you are one of those Geminis that I've met, I probably met you at Whole Foods, right? Because that's where I always get recognized, because that's the only place I go. Well, actually, that's recently changed, right? But if you're like me and you have like a little bit of a routine, it might be time to mix it up. It might be time to, adventure somewhere else. You have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is about taking the lead, getting out into the world, and going somewhere new, right? He has to break up his pattern, his routine. The story of this card is that he rushed to a finish line and he built this castle and he didn't enjoy the journey. And so, but he really needs to realize that he has an opportunity to accomplish something greater and build a new castle if he gets out into the world. So I do feel that for a lot of you. You have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is straightforward progress. So a lot of you could be making progress at this time with the Knight of Pentacles. He needs to plant seeds in this field behind him and they will grow. So I feel for a lot of you that it would be an amazing time to plant some seeds in this field and get them to grow, right? So anything you're thinking about starting, I would get started on. But I do feel good about this, Gemini. I do feel you're making progress. I mean, you have such great cards attached to this, especially going this way, that I do feel that a lot of you are making progress. Yeah, with the King of Cups, you have the Nine of Wands. I do feel like you're attracting like a little bit of a wounded animal here. Not like in a bad way. I don't mean that to be negative or anything like that. But, you might be attracting a person where it's like, I feel like you can see what they've been through. It's like, I don't have any good examples, but, sometimes you date a person and they're not, like, this person's not going to be a jerk or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying, right? I think this person's going to be great, but I think that maybe you can see the pain, which is kind of sad, Gemini. But, it's like, I'm not saying you're going to heal this person. Again, I don't think we can heal a person. We cannot do anything for another person. They have to do it for themselves, right? And, I don't think it's fair for anyone to put that burden on another person in general, but we can help, right? And I definitely feel that you could be helping in this situation where it's like, maybe you don't, I don't think you're necessarily going to be responsible for their healing, but I think you could be helping in their healing, just by being yourself. That's it. With the Two of Wands, you have the Five of Cups. Yes, the only challenge I see for you, Gemini, is going to be beliefs, right? Going this way. Five of Pentacles, Five of Cups. If you don't believe in something that you want to do, of course, it's not going to work. If you do believe in something that you want to do, it will work. But, I think that's like the secret sauce for you, is to work on your beliefs, to tell yourself that you're good enough, to tell yourself that the world deserves to hear what you have to say with the Hermit and the Star. To believe that you deserve to share your ideas. All that is what I would be focusing on, Gemini, for sure. Yes, with the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Whenever I have a reading where we have a card here and then the next row starts with the same card, to me, the reading is basically zooming in on the Eight of Pentacles and giving us more detail on what it means below it, right? And so the Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. He's just working on one thing at a time, and that's exactly what I would do if I were you. I would pick something right now and finish it, which I've probably said to you before. In your next row for the good stuff, you have this TikTok card and this Deep Knowing card. There's a lot going on here, Gemini. I feel like some of you, you are doing something. It's kind of like right place, right time energy is what I'm getting here for you, which is good. I also feel that anything that you should be doing, you just are going to know with this Deep Knowing card. I don't think this is true right now for most people. Why? Because Neptune and Pisces. Neptune is on its way retrograding back into Pisces. It's not there yet, but it will be soon enough. Neptune and Pisces, I believe, normally when we don't have Neptune and Pisces, when you set out to accomplish something, it's like you'll start it and then there will be a milestone. And it's like this close together. You know that you're going in the right direction. There's something intuitive about it. But there's something very confusing about Neptune and Pisces. I think the milestones are this far apart, you can't even see the next place that you're going. And so Neptune and Pisces, I think part of it is getting us to trust ourselves. It wants us to trust our own intuition, right? Which is very different. And so, but again, I think right now for you, Gemini, which is very uncommon for most people, you could be actually just knowing that something is going to work this week. And I would trust that. You have the Eight of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Hangman. Again, the Eight of Pentacles can be like the universe is zooming in on this energy and wants you to focus on, the things that you're working on, or wants you to pick one thing to focus on, which I would definitely do. You have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is about seeing things clearly. She only has clouds halfway up her body, and she's basically seeing the future more clearly, or she's seeing her future more clearly. And that's what I would pay attention to here with the Queen of Swords is, clarity. I feel the reading itself is saying that you could be getting a lot of clarity this week. You have the Hangman. I don't know. I think for the past 20 readings, you've had this card since Uranus moved into Gemini, right? And I've been saying to you that this is kind of Uranus and Gemini energy, even though it's not. That's not what this card means. But what I'm saying is that Uranus and Gemini, it is a good time to look at other perspectives, right? And so I feel the Hangman is basically going to keep coming up for you, Gemini. And it's just going to encourage you to, see things from a new perspective. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, some of you could be making work changes here for sure. This is the only card in the tarot that has an eclipse on it right here. So, the Eight of Cups comes up pretty much for everyone during these eclipse readings, or during these, readings that are basically for the eclipse. So, or, in this time frame. And so I think a lot of you could be walking away from something. But, again, coming up in the good stuff, obviously this would be a good thing. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Page of Swords. Yeah, it's a good time for curiosity for you. Anything that captures your attention, anything that stands out, anything that you become interested in, I would just learn about it with that card. With the Hangman, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. And Ten of Pentacles is building and leaving a legacy. So, yeah, amazing. It's also a card of making it rain. So, if you, I'm telling you right now, Gemini, this is a very abundant reading. Probably the most abundant reading I've done this week for anyone. So, if you are thinking about starting a project, launching a business, any of that stuff, doing anything for money, I would definitely do it. You have the Spirit, says heartache over what you no longer have. I feel like you're getting something so much better in love, if you are having a heartbreak, so wouldn't even worry about it. Like I feel there could be a very healing connection coming in for you, like I said. And maybe you are healing each other. It's like maybe both of you are the wounded warrior because we have the Five of Pentacles, we have the Nine of Wands with that King of Cups. But I feel maybe, again, cannot be responsible for anyone else's healing. We can only be responsible for our own. But at the same time, again, like I said, I think it's okay if you get with a person where, as long as you don't rely on them for your healing, if it helps, then that's not bad. You have the Scissors card. It says disappointment in some affair. Again, we don't really see any disappointments here, but, maybe you're having to let go of a past disappointment. You have this bag card. It says something important, such as a new job or a raise. Yes. The whole entire reading basically is talking about this, so there definitely could be like a new job, raise, promotion, something like that. You have this barrel. It says you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. Again, whatever it is, I don't care. I love money or goals, right? I would pick one and make it happen. Eight of Pentacles. Just that simple. Whatever is lacking in your life, I would pick it and say, this right here is the thing that I'm going to work on this week. I'm going to do one action, one thing to make this happen. If you do that, you'll change your life. There you go. You have this egg. It says success assured with good plans and hard work. Yes, definitely. The whole entire reading said that. I mean, you have the strategy card, right, which would basically be having good plans. You have the Eight of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. Great. So, there you go. Looks really good, Gemini. I love this. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.